Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here, and welcome to our roundtable on careers and opportunities for Agner in Brazil. My name is Clara Roldán. I'm one of the organizers of this school. I'm from Spain, and I currently pursuing my PhD at Federal University of Espírito Santo here in Brazil. Before beginning, you can see my screen, yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then before beginning, I want to present briefly the ICTP initiative that is making this school possible, which is Physics Without Frontiers. It's an ECTP program that aims to strengthen physics education and research in the global south countries through activities like mentorships, schools, workshops, international collaborations. It helps connect students and research with the global physics community. Then also they offer, we can see here the different activities that they have, and it's a lot of network of volunteers that participates in this initiative. And I think which is interesting is that we have also the ECTP postgraduate diploma program that, if I'm not wrong, is an advanced program designed for students who have complete their undergraduate studies and would like to do like a PhD and to strengthen or a master degree and to strengthen the background in physics and mathematics. Then you have, guys, here the links also in the website of our school. I think that we will put this, and the deadline is January of each years. I think it's a very like competitive thing, but I mean, always you can try, né? And it provides like high level coursework and research in an international environment. Um, then, okay, this is the initiative of ISTP, and then we can start here with the discussion. Okay. Okay, perfect. With this roundtable session, we intend to create an open and informal space, bate-papo in português, where we can discuss the opportunities and challenge of building a career in Brazil as an international student or researcher. For this reason, today we have for incredible guests with very different experiences and career paths. I'm sure we can all learn from them, be inspired by the journeys, and hopefully get answer to many of your questions. Therefore, I encourage you to ask question or share your own situation. Maybe we can say something or help. Um, and since this is an online session, I think it is better if only if the person that is talking open the microphone. And if you have any question, you can write in the chat and also open your microphone. And okay, I would like to introduce our guest. The first that I am seeing here right now is Michael. Michael is from Italy. He did his bachelor and master degree at the University of Bologna in chiral gravitational wave from axion inflation models. Now he's finishing his PhD in the PPG Cosmo postgraduate program at Federal University of Espírito Santo. and Michael's works mainly focuses on using large-scale constraints and gravitational waves as proofs to study unconstrained inflationary models and early universe scenarios. Welcome, Michael. Then
Thank
we
you,
have
thank you.
here Rahima from Argelia. Rahima did her bachelor and master degree in Argelia in CMB. She obtained her PhD also in Federal University of Espírito Santo in the same program that me, Michael, and Eunice. Um, where her research focuses on observational cosmology. Now she is a cosmologist and postdoctoral researcher at the National Institute for Space Research, INPE, in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. Né? And her current work spans CMB statistical analysis and dark energy studies. She is also a mentor at the Supernova Foundation, an organization that dedicated to supporting and empowering women in physics. I think that we can talk about this later. Eunice is also a member of this foundation. And our next speaker is Felipe Portales-Olivas from Chile. He completed both his undergraduate and master studies at the University of Concepción in Chile, and later he earned his PhD at the Federal University of ABC in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. He is currently a postdoctoral researcher at the Institute of Theoretical Physics in Sao Paulo, and also a visiting researcher at the University of Nottingham in the United Kingdom. Felipe's research focuses on quantum and classical field theory, gravitation, and the Hanru effect. Our last guest is Eunice. Eunice is from Kenya, and she is currently a research fellow at the African Center for Technological Studies in the Gender, Youth, and Inclusive Development Program. She holds a PhD also like us in the Federal University of Espírito Santo, a master degree in mathematical sciences from the African Institute for Mathematical Science, the AIMS, in Senegal, bachelor in mathematics and physics from the University of Nairobi. She also is, like I have said, a member of Supernova Foundation, and she leads the I-Analysis Mentorship Program, which equips like youth with digital skills and mentor girls in STEM. Okay, very, very, very nice people we have here. Then to start the discussion, I think it would be nice if maybe each of you guys could say to us a little more about yourself, maybe something that I have not said, and maybe tell us what brought you to Brazil. Uh, Maybe we can follow the order of the introduction. Maybe first Michael, then Rahima, Felipe, and finally Eunice. We can then change the order. Okay, Michael, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you for the very good presentation. I'm really glad to be participating in this event. And more or less, you said already most of the things. As you said, I did my undergrad and master degree in physics and theoretical physics at University of Bologna in Italy. I'm Italian. And as regarding like what brought me here in Brazil, I wanted to do my PhD outside Italy, abroad. So I was looking for some PhD program outside Italy, and was looking mainly in Europe at the beginning. But as you might know, I don't know like the level of the participants here today. But if you're looking right now for a PhD position, you might have experience like Europe is really packed, right? There are really a lot of competition, a lot of people like wanting to go into Europe, so it's hard. Not that it's easier somewhere else, but like the position are less and less, and that's the competition is inevitable. So as I was searching, looking for PhD position, then appeared this. It's already been cited several times in these few minutes, the PPG Cosmo International PhD program, which is this year is the 10th anniversary of this program. It was started in 2016 uh, uh, in Vitória, Espírito Santo, here in Brazil. And I found it interesting because it's based here in Brazil, so I had the chance like to visit, to learn, get to know the Brazilian culture, no? So it was an abroad experience, but at the same time, you also have the opportunity to have co-supervisor outside Brazil. So during the 4 year of PhD, you get to visit to know Brazil, you get to go to another country. So a lot of traveling, a lot of the opportunities. I found it really interesting. Maybe I don't know if Clara was planning to say something later on, but it's like you have every semester, there are selections with some scholarship available, position available. So it's I tried, yeah, and I did the selection. I was picked, selected, and so that's like why I'm here. And until now, I'm finishing at the end of my PhD, and I don't regret absolutely nothing. So really glad of my choice. I think that's it, more or less.
Thanks, Michael. Very nice. Rahima, you have a different experience.
Hi. Well, actually, this is just like you said. First of all, thank you for the invitation. Second, yes, my name is Rahima from Algeria. Everything you said is correct. And yeah, I actually knew my now supervisor at INPI. I knew him in Algeria in some conference, and he presented about CMB and stuff, and I found this very interesting. So yeah, we exchanged emails and we kept talking about the topic. So when I finished my master's degree, we have this crazy thing in Algeria where we have some PhD positions opening only one time every 2 to 3 years. So when I finished my master's degree, I was actually waiting for some PhD position to appear in Algeria, and I was talking to this to my now supervisor, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking for PhD in Algeria, but I think I'm gonna try abroad." And he was like, "Well, why don't you try Brazil?" I was like, "Yeah, that's interesting." So that's why I'm here. So I tried this, and it went well. So I came to Brazil in 2019 and didn't leave since then. So I did my PhD, and then I did some postdocs at the National Observatory, and now at INPI. So yeah, I am obviously enjoying it here. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks so much, Rahima. And
Thank you.
Felipe, what do you decide to move from Chile to Sao Paulo?
Yes, yes, yes. First of all, thank you for having me. Um, so my career development is not as standard as some of you might have, uh, because after finishing my master's, instead of actually pursuing a PhD, I thought I was done with physics for a second and decided to become a lecturer. I worked a couple of years in a couple of universities in Chile, namely Universidad de Concepción and Universidad San Sebastián, and decided, okay, maybe after teaching a little bit, liking it very much, I'm ready to become a professor. What is the next step for me? Then I need to get a PhD. I applied to several places. One of them, two in Brazil actually. One of them, the professor I wanted to work with, told me no, I have too many students, and that kept me bummed for a while. And after that, I decided to contact one of his collaborators, and that's how I ended up in Sao Paulo with Andre. He was my PhD advisor, and the experience was completely unlike everything I ever found in an academic setting. I basically sent him an email, telling him, "Hey, I would like to work with you." He sends me two projects. I chose one, and from that moment forwards, everything was great. Brazil has been the country that I like to say has given me everything without asking for much more than funding for my research. But yeah, that's how I got to Sao Paulo. And currently I'm away. I'm visiting Nottingham at the moment until the end of February. I'm staying here for a year, being funded by FAPESP, thankfully. And yeah, thank you.
Perfect, perfect. Eunice, how was for you?
Yeah, it's interesting, Clara, to come up with such an initiative for other people. I wish I had one too during my time. So also my experience is kind of also maybe the same or quite different because for me, I did firstly, I studied in Kenya for my undergraduate, and during my undergraduate studies, up to the time I finished my undergraduate, I'd never been taught by a woman in physics. They were just all men. So I always question, and I felt like, oh, maybe it's why don't I become that woman in physics and try to teach girls in physics. But anyway, so I got a scholarship to Senegal, and in Senegal at Ames. At Ames, I was supervised by Marc Casals, who was then based in Rio de Janeiro. But during that time, I knew very well that in Kenya, doing a PhD is kind of very sluggish. Many people, it's okay, I'm not complaining. It takes like 10 years or 5 or 7 years. I really didn't think that would work for me. And next, it's because there's no much funding for PhD. After your undergraduate and master's, you're a grown-up and you need to sort out yourself. I didn't feel a grown-up to sort out myself at that time. So I knew that if I go back to Kenya to look for a supervisor, it was going to be very hard for me. So I thought, let me just ride on Marc Casals and tell him I would like him to supervise me, because getting a foreign PhD supervisor, it's not easy. They need to know you. You need to have a lot of publications. It's not really very easy to prove yourself to someone that doesn't know you. So that's when I discussed with Marc, and then he told me about PPG Cosmo. I didn't know at that time how I felt about Brazil. All I wanted was an opportunity to do PhD. So I won't lie to you, like I wanted to go to Brazil. I wanted where I will get funding. And then it chanced that it was in Brazil. I think my first time at the airport, when I landed in Sao Paulo, is when I thought, oh, no one speaks English. Actually, that's the first time I realized there's no English, and I needed to sort myself out. But then looking back, for me, it has been worth it. I mean, I've been changing things here and there, but for me, it was worth it. And maybe I can stop it there for your first question, Clara.
Thanks so much, Miss. Maybe now, as you has commented this of the supervisor, I would like to begin maybe with you with the next question that I have. Like, how did you choose your two questions? Like, how did you choose your research area? For example, for the PhD, and like what is something that you had planned from the beginning of or did it evolve over the time? Maybe in your master degree, you have an area and then you move from another area, because this is very interesting for the student. Maybe sometimes we have the thing that I cannot move from another area. Ne? And also, how did you choose your supervisor, like in PhD, for example?
Yes, so my PhD supervisor was actually my master's supervisor. And during that time, I was so passionate about astrophysics, and it was always interesting for me. So when I did my master's, Mark proposed a project for me, which was on black holes, and I found it interesting. And luckily, during that time is when the Event Horizon Telescope, it was in 2019, had come up with the first image of a black hole. And I found it very interesting and very intriguing for me. So that is when, sorry, someone is knocking on my door. Let me see. Elisa, check who's knocking. Yes, then after that, I moved to my PhD almost in the same area. Of course, it changed a bit, but it was still in gravitational physics. So for me, it changed a little bit, not so much with regards to the research proposal. But I would say once a physicist, always a physicist. I mean, it could be hard to move from experimental to theoretical. I'm imagining in my head, but I think in theoretical physics you can you can hop around disciplines here and there. That's my perception. I don't know about everyone else.
Yes, yes, I agree. What do you think, Felipe, of this, like moving from another area, maybe?
Yeah, that is exactly what I did. My master's was focused on conservation charges that were arising in gravitational theories apart from general relativity. When you relax the conditions for the mathematical conditions that fix the variables of general relativity. And now, for my PhD, I started in 2019. I decided to move to the spooky side for me of quantum mechanics and doing quantum field theory instead of classical gravity as I was used to. And that's where I got introduced to the Unruh effect. So to me, it was a very, very healthy step in my progression as a scientist because it allowed me to see beyond what I was used to and the things that I was already used to. Even now, during my postdoc, and they took another jump from pure theory and working with an experimentalist group that are doing stuff related to thin films in helium to simulate quantum field theories in Minkowski spacetime.
Oh, very interesting. You moved from theory to experimental, ne?
I'm not moving stuff in the lab and just doing the theoretical interpretations, but yeah, I have to think about the experiments. That's very different.
Whoa, interesting. And for you, Rahima, you also begin with an area and then move to another one?
Well, actually, I guess for me, I strongly agree with what Eunice said because I started already working on observational cosmology. I started working with CMB data and I just fell in love somehow very fast. And I thought like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. So when I heard about the PPG Cosmo and when I was applying and stuff, when I had the chance to talk to my supervisor, I insisted I don't want anything to do with anything theoretical because I somehow thought like, I don't know if just like Uni said, like in my head, that was really complicated and I'm already good with observational. So yeah, let's keep working on that, you know? So that's what I have. That's where I have been since 2019. I mean, I'm switching or let's say I'm embracing different topics, but it's always in observational cosmology still. So I'm very Yeah, I'm just in one area, which is the observational, and yeah, that's it for me.
Nice, nice. And for you, Michael.
So yeah, I believe I totally agree with all that has already been said. In my case, until now, I've been more or less consistent in the sense that I did my thesis on like gravitational waves produced with a specific inflationary model, and I'm still more or less working on these things. Uh, but you know, as even if you stay in the same area, or even if you change, like even if you stay in the same area more or less, you as you progress in your academic career, you'll keep like broadening, opening up, you know, to new things that might get interesting. You might be interested too. So it's really like as Eunice said, like you're a physicist, you can do maybe it's hard to go from theoretical to observational. Like in my case, I wouldn't recommend you put me in the laboratory observational stuff. I live to run humanities. But yes, and as regarding your question about like how you pick your supervisor, um, in my case, like um, so, for example, when I was applying, looking for PhD positions, I was like, it ended up like being the same thing. Like I kept going in the same research area, but I was looking like for any position on theoretical physicist that uh, interested me at the moment, at that time. And when I got the position here at PPG Cosmo, you have like a list of available professors, and like I simply like kept I got in touch with this with the one who's nowadays is my supervisor, because like there was an overlap between my interest and the things that I worked on. So yeah, that's more or less how I ended up like working, still working on this area and with this professor. But as I believe everyone said, like yeah, you don't feel like you took that train that field and you have to keep going. No, no, no. Like you have the ability to possibility to range between different areas, and like it's really yeah.
Thanks so much, Michael. Before like finishing the topic of the supervisor, I would like to know like your opinion about changing maybe the supervisor because we were talking about this in the first roundtable, and for the people that don't speak Portuguese, I also want to speak about this, like the thing of changing of supervisor or maybe choosing like or their relation with your supervision. Maybe Michael, you can say something about this, and then we change the order.
Yes, sure. I would say like from my personal perspective and like also like my colleagues' experiences and so on, and I would say the relation with the supervisor, you know, student supervisor, it's really like um, it might work, it might not. Like especially for example, in my case, I had a list of available professors, and I sent an email, and okay, we get in touch. But the first contact was when I was already being selected, right? So I didn't know beforehand applying for that PhD position, the professor who were there, like didn't know anything. So it was kind of jump in the unknown in this sense. In my case, it worked out. I really like my work with my supervisor, so no problem in this sense. But also, like, it might be that for some reason you're not like in the same frequency, like you, and and that's okay. Like, of course, like it's better to think about if there's some uncertainties. It's better to asked to change supervisor in the first half, I would say, like at the beginning of the PhD, just for like, because if the work is already like quite progressed, you know, like you're towards the end, it's harder to find a supervisor that will accept to take you in right at the end, and like maybe doesn't really know you, and he'll be the one that will send reference letters afterwards. So it's better to think, best to do the change before than after. But no, like, don't feel like, oh no, I failed, I shouldn't be loved. No, no, it's completely fine and reasonable to like simply, okay, things aren't working properly for some reasons, and I believe it's best for my career, for like for, yeah, for everyone, right, to change and maybe find something different, someone
Yeah,
different.
yeah. It's at the end, it's a relationship. Let's see the red flags also. How
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you? What is your opinion, Rahim?
Well, yeah, I actually agree with Michael. I mean, going through the PhD, I thought it's going to be easier once you feel like you and your supervisor are not a match, like you can just find somebody else, because we expect that during our PhD we are going to have a lot of networking. We're going to have a lot of connections, a lot of projects going on with so many professors, and like saying to your supervisor, I don't think this is working, I think I'm going to switch to somebody else, is going to be easy. But sometimes it's not that easy, because in my experience, for example, when I joined the PPG Cosmo, I had my supervisor in Brazil, but I didn't have a co-supervisor outside of Brazil. And not even to switch, just to find a co-supervisor, that was really hard. I remember I contacted so many professors in the same area, in the same working on the same topic, same projects, and all of them were like, yeah, I have my hands full, so I really can't take any more students. And it took me years to actually find my co-supervisor. And so I really know that it's not easy to, if it's not easy to find a co-supervisor, I imagine that it's not easy also to like change supervisors. But I agree also that when like I said, when you start seeing red flags, it's better to just stop and switch, better than just keep going on, because it's not easy, to find somebody else. So yeah, I mean, for anyone going through this, you have my full support. Yeah, it's not that easy.
Okay, thanks, Rahima. Felipe, how about you?
I had the fortune of having a supervisor that clicked with me. And that's a very important part. The style that you decide that you like to work, it's very personal, and that has to click with your supervisor. If you're a person that prefers to be left alone, you can't have a supervisor that is all the time asking for new stuff. But if you work best under pressure, that's the type of supervisor you want to have. Luckily, I found a person who was perfect for me in that sense. But I've also seen from my friends' experiences the trouble that they can have with their supervisors and the effects that this has. For example, I have a friend who has switched supervisor twice during the PhD in his first year, and another one that the relationship was strained ever since the masters and did the PhD with the same person, and now they are in industry because they can't tolerate academic relations again. So yeah, that relationship will forge the path you make that you end up deciding to take in the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. How do you see this, Eunice?
It's funny because I'm one example that changed. My supervisor proposed a change for me. So I told you initially, my supervisor Mark was more into staff that have quantum. So if it's black holes, it's quantum. I know I'm not very good at small scale. I didn't know how to reason very well at that scale. I know I like black holes, but not the quantum ones. I want the classical ones. And let's study the mainstream images. I don't want the quantum ones. But then, he was my supervisor and I was a bit clingy and I don't want to leave him. But it's like, no, you need to find someone else. So lucky for me, he proposed for me a change and that's how I ended up working with Humberto and Emmanuel. But sometimes your supervisor might not be good, not really good, might not propose a change for you. They might realize you're not in alignment and they don't propose a change for you. So for me, it happened at the final year of my first year. And so for anyone, if you realize that you're having a strained relationship and maybe your supervisor might decide, oh, let you be, and you spend your 10 years in a PhD program. So maybe you yourself, you can identify your strengths. When you start seeing the red flags, it's not about the supervisor being a red flag. It can be a red flag, but maybe you also don't know your strength. So you'll still not find a good supervisor after changing that one. So you identify a red flag, but also stay true to your strengths so that you find another one that works. Because now if you change again, you will feel good that it was not a red flag. You're the red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Uh, I would like to move to another topic now, like because of the students' anxiety. Also, they maybe students that are now in the first undergraduate courses, they are worried about having publication or good grades and this kind of things. I mean, how important are these things in your opinion? Like having a good grade is always good, but maybe then in your PhD or in your postdoctoral studies, you also have these grades of the past, or maybe not having a publication when you are like in your undergraduate studies. I don't know. Maybe we can begin with Michael.
Yeah, sure. So regarding like publication, even in your during your undergrad and master, I believe a lot depends also like not just on you, but like on the academic system you're in. Because for example, in Italy, it's not so usual that even during the master that you're not supposed to, it's not required to you that you publish something. Like it might happen that the supervisor that for your master thesis that you chose uh, proposes to you a really good project and you'll be able in some way for, like to publish your master thesis, what you've done, right? But it's quite unusual. Like it's few cases. The majority of people in Italy, like at least in Italy, as I'm saying, my experience, like the master is some just like an extension of your undergrad. Like the focus is still on learning, studying, and like so. It's not that much on publications. So it's natural that you end up your master with no publication. It might be a bit frustrating, maybe, and when you'll get to finding a PhD, looking for a PhD, search for a PhD position. I had really good grades, and I was having some difficulties, and I was like, "So, what do you expect? What do you want from me? You know, like to get for accepting me for a PhD position and so on." So it might be frustrating, but still, like it's part of the process. Just trust yourself, as Eunice said, like know your strengths, and keep looking, keep searching. Like eventually, for example, in Brazil, like I get to at the end, I found, yeah, I got a PhD position. So publications weren't that mandatory, I'd say, right? Also, like, of course, during your PhD, you'll be publishing more or less, but still, like, in my opinion, the moment like you really expected to publish a lot is more during your postdocs. Is when you start your postdocs that you're kind of expected like to publish and to be productive in this sense. But even during the PhD, usually PhD programs asks you, to defend, to finish, to get your degree, you have to have at least one publication, and you'll get one for sure, at least one. Uh, but yeah, like don't worry too much, especially during the undergrad and master about publication. That's like my takeaway.
Okay, Michael, thanks. What is your opinion, Rahim?
Yeah, actually, it's quite the same thing in Algeria. Also, you are not expected to have so many publications during your master's degree, but yeah, I mean, sharing experiences. I know that during my PhD, I was very anxious, and I really wanted, because I thought that was the right thing. I thought that the right thing that is to start PhD and just start publishing every single day or every week or something like this. And I was so anxious that I was not publishing anything like my first 2 years of doing PhD. So I remember I was so anxious about this. I was so disappointed with myself, feeling like maybe I am the red flag. Maybe I am the problem. And I remember actually you mentioned the Supernova Foundation. I joined the foundation to have mentoring back then. I was a mentee. So I remember I talked to my mentor and she was doing her postdoc in Oxford. And I mean, that was a big deal for me. And I was talking to her and I was ashamed. I was like, yeah, I started my PhD, but I haven't published anything. I mean, how how sad is this? And she was like, chill. It just started. I mean, I finished my PhD with just one article published, and now I am doing my postdoc and stuff. And I remember this made me feel more relaxed because um, I guess we're more used to hearing stories about, I don't know, yeah, this person, they have like 20 articles published or whatever. And I just held myself to these standards, And I actually also agree strongly with what Michael said about it's about the environment where you are, because like throughout the years, I noticed that you go into some institutions or into some groups, research groups, where you see that the professor is some kind of this very interactive, active professor that just gets all his group together to work on so many articles, and sometimes you just fall into this group where you actually have to figure it out yourself. And I mean, I confess I had my difficulties, figuring things out. And I mean, I didn't even know from where to start, when we are talking about the paper. And so, yeah, it's a complicated topic. It has so many layers to it. What I think I could be the conclusion is that doing your PhD, let's focus on quality more than quantity. Like, do not bother with numbers. I know for sure that I worried so much about numbers. Like, gosh, what? I'm going to present this CV with just one article? Like, what? But really, let's focus about quality. Let's do good research, take our time to write some good papers, do the good research, and not worry about the number, because yeah, you will find people that will judge you for the number. This happened to me, at least. This like made me so sad many times, people commenting about the number of articles. But like in the end, I learned my lesson, and I really appreciate more the quality of the work rather than the quantity, because it really doesn't say much about that person. That's the conclusion. Like, having 20 articles doesn't mean that you are a perfect PhD student or you're a perfect postdoc, whatever. And having just one doesn't mean that, yeah, you're not working. It doesn't say anything about you. Yeah.
Thanks, Rahima. Very nice point. Felipe, what is your opinion? How is in Chile, or maybe to enter in the IFT that you are working, for example?
Yes. In Chile, to graduate from my master's, I had to have an article submitted, not accepted, just submitted. So if I remember correctly, the idea was it should be what is now called a WAS article, WAS indexed article, and that time was referred to as ISO index article. I published one for the master's and two for the PhD, and to actually get the position as a postdoc, thankfully, it wasn't a direct competition as other positions are, because Sao Paulo has the Sao Paulo Research Foundation, FAPESP, Fundação de Amparo à Pesquisa, Estado de São Paulo, and they have a continuous stream of funding. You can apply anytime with your curriculum and your professor's blessing. So that's how I got my position in the end. So yeah, publishing is important. I'm not going to deny that. But you can't keep comparing yourself to other people that maybe even work in different areas. This is all very area dependent. We do physics. For example, there are people in physics that publish 12 times a year. There are other people that publish once every 2 years. But that person that published one every 2 years published a 40-page paper with a complete development of a full theory, and the other person that published 12 times published 12 short articles. Not to say that that's less work, but it's a different kind of work. If you go to areas outside of physics, I know a guy that published 14 articles for his master's, but that's electrical engineering. You can't compare, it's comparing apples to pears, as we say in Spanish. But yeah, we can't just focus on the numbers, focus on doing a good job and showing that work you're doing to other people, going to conferences and talking to more people. One of the big enlightenments I had about this was this year, actually. I was talking to one of the PhD students here in the Nottingham group, and they were telling me, yeah, here with the funding we have for a PhD, we get to go to one international conference during the entire program. And I thought to myself, oh wow, that's really impressive, because I had the privilege to go to two. I could have even go to a third one because Brazil gave me the money. So those were opportunities to not have a publication on record properly with a DOI and everything, but of showcasing the work I was doing, of letting other people get to know my name or what I was doing and what I was interested about. So yeah, Brazil has a lot of opportunities as well.
Nice, Felipe, thank you. Eunice, what do you think it is maybe in Kenya different, or maybe to enter in AIMS? I don't know, in AIMS in Senegal, you have also to have you can do a PhD, and you need to have a lot of publication.
No, actually in AIMS, you don't need to publish for you to finish your master's. So I underwent some culture shock when I reached and find a master's student as a whole publication. I began my master's without a publication, and sometimes it was embarrassing. So I mean, not really, it's you feeling so. No one even tells you that's embarrassing. Then for sure you will be judged, because you'll judge yourself. You'll be judged because you don't look serious, and but then it will work out. You'll be judged, you'll undergo a lot of imposter syndrome by yourself, but it's going to work because the reason why those that have are outliers, and in statistics, the little statistics I have, you don't use outliers to make a decision. So of course there are those who have many, and if you have many, that's okay. If it worked for you, but if you don't have, it's going to work. And if it didn't work, it's not because of the publication. It just didn't work. Maybe, yeah, just take your time. By the end of your PhD, if you have one publication, what will be required is to defend your work. If you can't defend your work before those members, those pool of professors that will go to a meeting after your defense, if they don't find you convincing, it doesn't matter how many publications you have. So it's fine, they're important, but the reason why we are having the discussion is because majority don't have those many publications. So it's to encourage you that you are normal. Your first article might come out, might be accepted towards your defense. Just go and defend that work because that is what is going to make you pass. If it has been accepted, it will work out. A lot of judgment, everything will work out. Yeah, thanks.
Perfect, perfect. Very, very nice. And thanks so much. I think now the students are more relaxed. And guys, in the chat, if you want to interrupt us, you can say anything you want. And now I want to change maybe a lot the topic with another question I was curious about is how have you dealt with learning a new language or not only in your professional or academic life but also in your everyday life, like it is also important maybe to know English to go abroad, né? And also how is the experience of being an international student, and if this is affect your studies in some point, I mean adapting to the daily life in another country, culture, climate. Maybe we can begin with Michael, coming from Italy to Brazil.
Right. So I actually, well, I don't know Felipe, but for sure, like with respect to Rahima and Eunice, it was easier for me to learn Portuguese. Thanks to the similarities, right, between Italian. I also know Spanish, so that helped a lot. Uh, but still, like I remember, like similar to what Eunice said, like getting here, I suspected like people on the streets that don't know English, don't speak English, but even like federal police weren't able to didn't know like English, even Spanish, just Portuguese. Whatever. Like, you're receiving people from abroad, like. So yeah, it's still like you get through, kind of bit of um yeah, well, how I'm doing, like how can I deal with all these things? Uh, but eventually, like I believe, especially in the academic university environments, uh, we are physicists, right? So like we are used to uh, read articles in English, so we have some knowledge of English, and so in the academic environment, people will know English, and Brazilian people, specifically in Brazil, like are really receptive, will help you like whenever and in whichever way they can. So that's like really they helped a lot, and eventually you'll learn the language, Portuguese, and so don't worry about that. And as like the experience of being like a international foreign student, I mean, it's hard. There are things that are hard, and sometimes you get homesick. Like especially if you're coming from really far away, and there might be some difficulties arranging like within your culture, like with you. But in the end, like I believe it's a really worth experience. Like I really recommend doing at some point an experience as an international student because it really opens up your mind, like gets you like see things from different perspective, like dealing with problems with like yeah, like philosophy of life different. It's really like a enlightening experience to get to live in another country for quite some time. Yeah, the PhD program is 4 year here in Brazil. And so yeah, I really like recommend it. I'm not saying like it's just going up. No, you have like uh, roller coaster, especially at the beginning. It has its difficult periods and everything. But it's like in the end, I recommend you see like the pros are bigger and uh, more powerful, right, than the cons.
Thanks so much, Michael. Maybe the only difficult thing for you is the summer temperature in Rio de Janeiro, Michael, and
No, yeah. For me, it was
summer.
like, please give me it's 4 year, like just pure summer. I was like, no. But this is just like personal difficulties. Like other people are like, yes, please give me just study on the beach. Like,
Thanks, Michael. Rahima, how about you?
Well, yeah, I left Algeria believing that everyone abroad speaks English. I don't know where I got this from, but yeah, I just thought I'm going to survive, and like my first shock was when I reached the airport in São Paulo and I was looking like where to go and stuff. And I was asking people like I remember I learned in Portuguese to say, hi, I don't speak Portuguese. Do you speak English? And like I went to everyone and I was like, hi, I don't speak Portuguese. No. And everyone was like, no, I don't speak English. Do you speak Portuguese? I'm like, no, I just told you I don't. So it was difficult. But yeah, I love actually I love languages. I also speak French, so I found that learning Portuguese was a bit easier, I guess, for me. And practice makes perfect. So I remember my colleagues, they were very supportive. I mean, I remember like we agreed like, yeah, so we are just going to speak Portuguese from now on so that you can practice because really I was so stupid. I really thought I can survive just with English. And I remember like the first time I tried to buy something at the supermarket in Brazil, and then they'd be asking you if you want the CPF, and if you want to pay with this or that. And it was too many questions. So I was very confused and I was like, yeah, I can't survive here without learning the language. So I really have to learn the language. But yeah, on the positive aspect, I guess, I can say that I am a different person from the Rahima that got here in 2019 in a positive way, of course. I feel like I have learned so much. The Brazilian culture is very embracing. You don't feel like, because I have other friends that went to do PhDs in different countries and that really had some difficulties with the different cultures. But I really felt like the Brazilian culture was kind of warm, like they are very welcoming. And this helped, and it really helped me turn into a different and better person, like, understanding different cultures and going through different experiences. Far away from home, you'll have to deal with everything alone. So you learn so much with that. And honestly, if I could give an advice to anyone, like randomly, I believe that traveling really makes you a very different, in a positive way, of course, different person. So for anyone thinking about going into an experience of international studies and stuff, it's going to be good. It's going to be good on professional side and also on a personal side. I really enjoyed my experience here. I'm still enjoying it, obviously. I'm still here, so. And I mean, I would recommend it based on my positive experience, I guess.
Thanks so much, Rahima. Very interesting. There are two questions in the chat. Let's like read quickly in order to don't miss. But the first one is Ali Usman is thanking us. Okay, I'm glad. Yes, that. And the second one, Alessandro Paolo said, I am an undergraduate studying. I would like to ask for your advice on how to structure my CV for a PhD application. My academic grades are not particularly strong, but I have worked with my advisor on a manuscript. We are preparing for a publication. How I can my research experience and okay, I don't know. Maybe Felipe, that is the next in speak. Maybe if you want to say something about this or
Yes, about structuring your CV, I wouldn't worry too much about actually going to Overleaf and doing a LaTeX CV, because your CV as a document is it's important. Yes, it tells a lot about you, but people don't look at it as much as you will look at it. So I I get it. I have the nice presentation style curriculum for whatever, but don't worry much about structure. Just list the things you like, list the things you have experience on, and go ahead for with it. Just don't overthink it. Also, don't use AI. AI is good for some stuff. I don't think it's going to be very good for an academic CV. Uh, and about being an international student, uh, I would say Brazil robs on you. Uh, After living there for 6 years, uh, I feel Brazilian. Some might say, okay, you come from Chile. It's a really nice, really close place. That's why it's so similar. No, Chilean culture is not the same. Uh, Clara is saying yes with her head, because Chileans are like the most closed off people in all of South America. And one of the last times I was there in Chile, uh, I I started talking to people like I usually speak to people in Brazil, and my sister was looking at me all weird because why are you doing this? Why are you talking to people like this? You're embarrassing me. So yeah, uh, Brazil has this thing that, as I said before, it will give you everything and ask for nothing from you. Uh, Yeah, it's a very positive experience to be an international student there, provided that you find a group of friends that will teach you about the local costumes, about the local everything, and you will find out things that, by yourself as well. Um, the language barrier was funny for me. I always say that my PhD was easier than learning Portuguese because it's so similar with Spanish than in the end, and yet still, when I speak Portuguese, I sometimes use a Spanish word, thinking they mean the same, and they are completely different things. So yeah, that's what I can say about it. I really love Brazil. I've lived there the rest of my life, I think.
very nice. Okay, Eunice, we have also a question in the chat. Tomás from Bolivia say, I am finishing my undergraduate in physics and I am interested in cosmology, gravitational physics, and particle physics. Here there is no research work, groups or professor in these areas. What advice you would give me to be more involved in these topics because I would like to strengthen my profile before to apply to master program.
May I interject there?
What?
May I interject there a little bit?
Yes, of
Uh,
course.
don't worry about being a guy that knows everything during the undergrad to go and then go do a master's. Yeah, you are doing these parts of your career, a master's and a PhD, to learn. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna start from scratch at some point. When I went from classical gravity to quantum field theory, curved spacetimes, I basically had to learn everything from scratch. So yeah, don't worry about being the strongest candidate possible. Just go ahead, apply, and you will learn there.
Yes, you will have a lot of time to work and to learn. Yes, I agree. Also, Ali Usman asked, as a theoretical physicist, which type of skills we should learn, like Python, MATLAB. I don't know, maybe Eunice can answer as a theoretical physicist.
Yes, thank you. So maybe I would start by Alessandro. Alessandro, what you really need to put in your CV is not even a description of your manuscript. It should just be a title at most and some link. You will not describe your manuscript. And maybe now when you need a proposal, when you're going to submit a proposal, maybe for your PhDs, when you might, use some experience from there. And don't be perfectionists. Even by the time you still finish your PhD, you still feel like you've never learned anything. So you'll never be at a point. Even us, when we are here, we doubt ourselves every day. We are not here like superheroes. We even doubt everything we've published. So you're not going to learn things. So just keep moving. You finished your undergraduate, keep moving, find a master's, go there, make mistakes, as Felipe said, and learn something. Just keep moving. You will never learn anything, and you don't have time for that. So for me, my experience with Portuguese was very different. It was so hard for me because I speak my native language in Kenya, Swahili. I spoke English, and all the languages I spoke had no similarity with Portuguese. So I still speak Portuguese till now because my supervisors decided one day that we will now not be speaking English. So it was going to be Portuguese every day. I needed to ensure that I do my presentations in Portuguese. And for me, that's how I learned it. You're not going to have like a perfect, smooth experience. Some things you're going to learn them in their hard way, and some things you learn them easily. So don't find the easiest way of surviving as an international student. There's no easiest way. Some things are going to be hard for you. If you're waiting for things to work so well, you'll get stuck. So just keep moving when it's hard. I mean, try to adapt to it. I learned Portuguese while crying. And it worked out, and I appreciate that I learned it because now I had to use my research to learn Portuguese. And then as an international student, so you will miss home, you will miss your family. It's normal for you to feel so. So if you're thinking about leaving your country and you say, "Oh, I'm going to," yeah, you will miss them wherever you go, even within your own country. If you go to another town, you're going to miss your family so badly. But then what do you actually want? Also, this your family, but I presume maybe it's in Kenya, but in Kenya, you need to outgrow your family. So when you've outgrown your family, I don't think you will. I don't think right now I can say that I didn't succeed because I was missing my dad. You will still ask me, okay, what have you done as a grown up? So as a grown up, you also have to do something for yourself. So such things are going to happen for you. Where you'll find some people. I had Rahima. We used to go to restaurants in weekends. So during the weekday, we had to Google where we need to go in the weekend. So we go to Instagram and find restaurants
It was
where
so
we are
much
going.
fun.
Yes, don't be a boring human being. I mean, the stipend is not so much, but also you're going to spend a lot of money on a psychiatrist or someone to advise you. So you can spend it on yourself and on your mental health. Just move there, and when you reach there, find someone that you relate with. Don't think about a lot of things. Just keep moving. Go with what is working. Find someone that likes, maybe you like hiking. Go with that person. Keep moving. I think Rahim at some point migrated. I poached Michael. So for me, I was always using people to survive in Brazil, and that's my nature. Yes, so that's how I survived. It's not easy, but find ways, or always be an adaptive person. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much, Eunice. Very nice. There is also a person here. I don't know if we has Ali. He was asking, like, as a theoretical physics, which type of the skill, like, we should learn. Like, maybe if you can answer like this quickly.
I forgot about that one. Actually, for me, I would first say you're doing, what are you specifically doing? Because I think MATLAB is easier to learn if you're going to do visualizations. Python takes time. It depends with, as a physicist, whatever you're doing, and maybe whoever is advising you. I personally started by learning MATLAB during my master's, and I went on to learn maybe Python sometime later. So there's no order of what you're going to learn first. Some things come out naturally. So while you're doing your research, you might find that it's Mathematica you need to learn, and that's where you're going to begin. So I can't give you a formula of what you begin with. Your research might tell you need to learn Mathematica, not Python, not MATLAB. Yeah, that's my opinion.
Exactly. There is another question of Ahmed. Yeah. Hello, thank you for the session. My question is, due to COVID and other international issues, I was unable to build an strong network of referees. How can you get a strong referees and graduation?
Because referees are people that know you, so they need to be your lecturers. I'm not sure how COVID affected Hamed, because your referees are basically your lecturers, people that have interacted with you. Yeah. So maybe Hamed, you could expound on that.
Yes.
Maybe if you want, I can add, like, yes, Eunice said, like, in general, like, you won't have to look out for other people, or, yeah, like, the referees that will send the reference letters for you are just the people that, I don't know, when I was like looking for a PhD position, they were my bachelor and my master supervisor, the ones where with that I did my bachelor and master thesis. That there are people that you've been working on, and this is just enough. Like, you to get a PhD, like, they're not expecting you to have who knows so many contacts outside, like your university or the people that you're directly work with. So yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, and
And I
also
wouldn't
those
worry
that
if,
like
oh,
you.
sorry.
You don't pick those that they like you because they're going to send an anonymous report about you. So people that can speak well about yourself. Your lecturers, you know very well that this one is not going to speak much about me, but this one can speak better about myself. Yeah.
Felipe, you also want to say something?
Yeah, the thought already left my mind. So
Yeah, I think Ahmed wrote a follow-up about this, and he said it's because of online schooling and the constant security checks in the UK. But like during the online schooling, like you still have contact with your professors. I mean, usually professors are super nice about this. Like when you ask them to write a reference letter, usually you need just one or two reference letters, so they're usually kind of nice about it and they help. So I wouldn't worry much about it. I don't think, okay, I don't want to say something wrong, but I don't think it matters that much.
I'd agree. Now I remember what I wanted to say. You don't have to count on the professors that are checking your application in other places to know the people that are writing your reference letter. This is a matter of, I think the word that best suits is honor between academics, saying if I receive a letter from another academic telling me, okay, this person has this strengths, I should be inclined to believe them. And if they were lying to me, well, I know not to trust them in the future. But uh, people are moving so much these times that, for example, no professor in let me say, for example, in the UK here, it's going to know all my professors that I had in Chile or in Brazil, and they might have read the names once or twice in a paper, but they are not going to be fairly acquainted and say, yes, I trust this guy's opinion more than this other guy. So don't be afraid of having your everyday professors be your references.
Yeah, thank you, Felipe. It's true. Okay. Let's change a little the topics, only to cover one thing that I wanted to cover about the opportunities. Like, did maybe any research stays or collaboration play an important role in your career? Maybe some more concrete, for example, a collaboration, a research stage, that you did in the maybe international or in Brazil. Maybe could you tell us a little about scholarship or funding opportunities in Brazil for international students and researchers? Maybe if you want to share a link, maybe in order to the students that are here. I don't know. Eunice or Michael can begin with this. Maybe Michael, you
Sure,
you
then what?
you get the FAPES the FAPES recently, eh?
Yes, yes. And regarding like scholarship, like yeah, before Felipe already like mentioned, there are a lot of um, opportunities, funding opportunities here in Brazil. There are like national scholarship, regional scholarship that you can apply to. In the past, maybe like in Rahima and Eunice can tell us a bit more about this. I believe they might have been had a bit more difficulties because in the past, I believe that not many scholarships were open to foreigner students here in Brazil, but nowadays it's really like they open up. So even if you're a foreigner student, you can apply to old Brazilian scholarship as you were a Brazilian citizen, right? And there are a lot of opportunities to make sandwich periods, to make like shorter visits, like a 3 months visit usually, scholarship to participating at events worldwide, to visiting professor, like really, really a lot of opportunities. Of course, as in all like scholarship, there are selections, you have to win them. So that's not, of course, you have to go through the selection process and everything. But in the end, during your PhD, at least here in Brazil, in my experience, right, uh, you'll have many opportunities to travel and to to go to events, conferences, to let people know you, talk about what you're learning, what you're focusing on, and that's like really important. It's part of like the learning process. In your PhD, you're still like you're considered still a student, and in fact, you are like you're building up your knowledge, and you're letting people know what you're doing, and for later on when you're going for a postdoc, so being easier for people like, oh yeah, I remember you. You really you were learning this, you were doing this stuff really really impressive, so why don't you come here work with us? Like that's just the whole point of the PhD. And scholarship, Brazilian government will give you opportunities to do this.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. For you, Eunice, was also that sample or
No, for me, besides, for Brazil, by the time I came to Brazil, I only knew about PPG Cosmo, which we were based in, which is anyway, I would recommend it for many people. It's very friendly to many students. Entry is not so a lot of pressure. And also for Brazil, another program I learned when I reached there were a lot of foreign students from Africa, South America, around different countries coming for undergraduate and even masters. I've put a link there. Maybe someone can go and read about it. It used to fund a lot of students to Brazil from undergraduate to masters, not sure about PhD. So if someone is interested, they can go through it and it's another nice way. If you want to go to Brazil, you can go through that program. But of course, it's in partnership with your countries. And of course, the one that Rahima has shared. Yeah.
okay, nice. And Rahim, for you, if you want to add something, or maybe in the
Ye-
postdoc now.
Yeah, exactly. I shared a link. It's for the World Academy of Science. That's actually how I got here. They did the connection. They do the connection actually between developing countries and like they share too many opportunities for whether it's master's degree, PhD, or postdoc in different areas. It's a really interesting place to look for scholarships everywhere, not only in Brazil. And I believe that actually connections, I don't know. I feel like nowadays you can just write an email to some professor that you find their job interesting, their work interesting, and you find that you have the same interests. They can recommend better the scholarships that they count on or that they use a lot in the university. So this is one path I would go through if I was interested in looking for a PhD abroad.
Perfect. Nice. Felipe, you also want to add maybe something about?
Yeah, I can talk about the experience of Sao Paulo that has its own funding agency. In the Sao Paulo Constitution, I think it's 2%. It's guaranteed by the Constitution of the state that the budget is 2% of the budget is allocated to FAPESP, the Sao Paulo Research Foundation, and they use that budget to fund different initiatives. The main ones are the continuous stream of masters, doctoral students, postdocs, and for other parts of other stages of your career, they also fund what it's called the JP, or Jovem Pesquisador, or Junior Researcher. You have to be already hired by a university in the state of Sao Paulo to actually be able to access that funding stream. So the scholarships in Sao Paulo are the best in the country. A master's student is, so you can have a comparison. A master's student funded by the Sao Paulo Research Foundation gets more money than a PhD student funded by the federal government. And almost all professors have access to this funding. You just have to apply. Being so good in terms of giving you money, they are also very competitive, and there are always people applying for them. I've seen a couple of my friends started their second PhD year, and they were still trying to apply, asking for considerations for their processes to actually get this scholarship, because it's a lot of investment the government is doing for you. And the other advantage is that unlike the federal grants, the FAPESP grants, they give you what's called a technical reserve. That's a 10% of the money they give you for each year that can be used for buying stuff for the lab, for buying stuff that you're going to use on your research, or go to conferences. In my time, it wasn't 10%, it was a 30%. So it was a really big budget that I had to go to international conferences. That's the main advantage of going with a FAPESP grant. The downside is that they are much more restrictive, in the sense that you can, they require much more of you. Unlike the grants by the federal government, they request a yearly report from you, and several stuff more, like you have to be a reviewer for other people that request grants and everything. So it's a lot more demanding, and professors expect a lot more from you as well if you have that grant.
Very nice point, Felipe. There is also a question in the chat, but I think that Michael has already answered, no? Yeah, from Nida. Okay. Then let's move to another topic, another topic that I want to comment with you, as we also have Eunice here, that Eunice is in industry now. And first, I wanted to ask Rahima, Michael, and Felipe, have you considered leaving academia, like to move to the industry?
Every single day.
Yeah,
I have.
I agree with the perception.
It happens. It's normal. We all go through
Normal.
what am I doing here? Like imposter
already told-
syndrome, like
Every
beating
single
us,
day.
like really am I?
But like,
I've already
what
told
is
this
the
story to my postdoc supervisor, but at some point during the PhD, I almost left to become a flight attendant for Emirates, but I didn't pass the selection, so
Signs from heaven, like.
well, I'm still in science.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, it's just like considering more opportunities.
Okay.
You know, other options, because as I said, I worked on the observational part of physics, and I dealt with so many data and so many coding and stuff, and I looked at the industry as like, yeah, this also might be an opportunity, something, something to do in case, you know. Because
Nice.
it's not simple. It's not that easy also in academia. I mean, we've been talking about scholarships and stuff, but it's not always that easy, and to get a permanent position,
Yes, yes. We
You
also need
agree,
to be
Meiko?
realistic. I mean, we need
Yeah.
to be realistic, like as you keep progressing, it gets harder. So really, like, no shame on considering industry, because of course, like, depending on when you're going, salaries will be usually are higher. So that's the reality, especially in the world where we're living right now, with like less and less investment in research. It's a reality, unfortunately. And so it's really like your decision, right? What you believe it's best for you. It's a choice. You have different. Uh, it's really no problem, no shame, or like considering thinking about it. You are not supposed to. It's not like I've started academia. It has to be academia for the rest of my life. Whenever like I have this privilege in this sense, like we've been building up knowledge and skills that can be used somewhere else if we want to. So really, like, no problem. Like as we already said, like every single day, like, let me think about it. And it's a choice.
Yes, I think for me during my PhD, I used to do some collaborations with friends here and there. We were trying to come up with some mentorship program for young people, for youths. You're like, oh, how about we ensure every young people in Kenya, every young person in Kenya has digital skills, for instance, because we interact with people and you just realize digital literacy is a bit low, and there's also that I don't, maybe it's a passion, maybe it's nature for every woman to want to lift up other women. So you find ways of trying to lift girls, and I think through that mentorship program, we ran it, virtually. It was not actually making money, and we were frustrated about it, but we continued. So when I came to Kenya, I first began by working in the university. And working in the university in Kenya was different because there's a lot of teaching and even less research. So even the imposter syndrome is not there because you teach so much. They're understaffed. And because of that understaffing, I kept asking myself, then why did I finish that PhD? Because I felt it's hard to even do the research itself. So I felt I was doing something which maybe, with all due respect to masters, you can just teach even with a master's, but you become a problem solver. So I need to solve problems. So I decided to force issues, and I started Googling opportunities for youths, for women and youths. I don't know, yeah. So I came across, this non-governmental organization. And when I got the opportunity, I got two opportunities. So there's the postdoc called Development of Radio Astronomy for Africa. I got it at the same time with my current opportunity. I thought to myself that I think after that postdoc, which was highly paying, I would go back to being underpaid as a lecturer. But then let me just take this other one, which is equally highly paying. So I think there's really no formula. Maybe some initiatives you do might really end up opening ways for you to other fields, maybe in the industry. I can't tell you of a formula, but maybe pursue your passions, the different passions you have besides physics. There's more that you are, and sometimes they might merge together, and it might be the reason why you leave academia and go to the industry setup. It's also, it's a lot of work, but I like it so far. My parents don't understand what I do nowadays. Your parents will think you are unemployed. Yes, so people will start wondering, why did you waste time? I don't think I wasted my time. I used my PhD because I learned to identify problems and solve them. So don't get stuck. The point of PhD is not really even the physics that you're doing. It's the point of identifying a problem and solving it. Those are the skills you get from a PhD. Yeah, so if you consider changing, you can, yeah.
Yeah, very, very nice. Congratulations, Eunice. Yes, I was asking me like what skill, like maybe especially from your PhD, have been more useful in your work, in your daily work. But as you say, I think you has answered them. Yes, yes, yes,
Yes, and then because when you're a physicist, you learn to solve a lot of complex
exactly.
problems. I think it gives you the adaptability of a lot of things that you realize, okay, someone is struggling to do something, but in your head, you're like, you sit and think and solve that. I thought that's what people need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, now as we have not so much time, I would like to direct the last, maybe the last section, mainly to Rahima and Eunice. Like both of you have been involved in initiative supporting women in science. So I think it would be very interesting if you could share some of your experience as physicist women. Maybe any advice you will give to um, uh, the students here, maybe, and in case to consider a career in physics. And also, Michael and Felipe, you are also welcome if you want also to share your thought or how we can all contribute to make academia more inclusive environment. Maybe Rahima can begin.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sharing like my personal experience. I am the eldest daughter of my parents, and I am the first one to go to university and pursue more studies. So I remember that I somehow felt that I was struggling alone, like I was telling you, like I'm approaching like a master's degree, a PhD and stuff, and I don't even know what where a paper should start from and stuff like this. So knowing the Supernova Foundation, where I am now, knowing the Supernova Foundation and having the opportunity to connect with so many wonderful and powerful and strong women in science. I mean, that was an experience that I can only appreciate it so much, like sharing the experience, hearing from another woman about her beautiful experience and getting advice from her, because like we can't deny that an experience of like a male researcher is different, so having this experience shared with you, having the advice, having the safe space, to share your struggles and to learn from somebody else, that was a very valuable experience for me. So I would say to any young researcher to not struggle alone, to just find this kind of safe spaces, to connect and to learn and to know other people from different backgrounds doing the same thing as you. I mean, I wouldn't say like it would solve the imposter syndrome problem, but it will help a lot. because I see that many topics that we are discussing now are topics that I have actually addressed with my mentor back then when I first joined the Supernova Foundation when I was a lost young student. And I really appreciated how this helped me back then understand, what I was getting myself into and deciding on many things. And I was so in love with the experience that when I finished my PhD and I started doing a postdoc, I got the offer like, yeah, so now we think you can be a mentor now and you can help other young girls. I said yes, like right away, because I really felt the need to share what I have experienced when I was younger. So really, I'm really passionate about this kind of initiatives, and I really would advise any young girl or a man, to join these groups, because I don't feel that we talk much about so many of our struggles. I mean, look at us. We've been here and we've been talking about scholarships and PhDs and traveling and how it's nice. And then at the moment you said, like, are you thinking about leaving academia? I mean, I felt like we were justifying it, like, yeah, you might have done this, but you can leave. And that was something I had before. Like when I started thinking the first time about leaving academia, I felt like I don't know, doing something like wrong or like, I don't know. So it helped actually to talk about it to someone who has been through this, has been through the same experience, and to learn from their experience. I mean, it's just like a history book. You read the history book and you just learn from other people's experiences and mistakes. And so imagine having a person sharing their experience with you. I mean, it's very valuable, in my opinion. I would advise young girls that are with us here to check the Supernova Foundation. I will share the link and to join. Yep.
Yeah, thanks, Rahima. I wanted to ask you, like, how have you done in order to be inside the Supernova Foundation? Because for example, I also be interested, like, what need you do to?
Yeah. I mean, there is just a subscription, and then there is so many wonderful women, like professors and postdocs, that would really appreciate having a mentee. And so, like, we have monthly meetings. I mean, it actually depends on how much the mentee needs to talk to the mentor. So, and it's like free. Me as a mentee, I can call my mentor like at any time and be like, I need help with this and this topic. And then we can set a meeting, we can meet and talk. And then we have the monthly meetings of the organization itself. We have also a Slack channel. It's amazing, like where we share many opportunities and research, science questions, like random things. It's just amazing. We gotta be there. So I will share with you the site.
Thanks so much. Eunice, you are also in Supernova Foundation, eh?
Yes. So I joined Supernova Foundation in 2018, before I began my master's, because I needed to be around people that not really that I've been mentored, so much by men too. I'm a product of men mentorship, but feeling learning an experience from a woman is something different. It feels very relatable. Sometimes, a lot of things you just want to see people that look like you. And that is why even after that, I do, personal mentorships within Kenya, because you'll find that many girls or even, young women, some of them get intimidated with STEM if they don't see anyone like them, they just don't go into those spaces. There's those like us who, if even if I don't see a woman, I'm going there. But not many have that experience and that courage. And the imposter syndrome even begins from the gender itself before it reaches to the research itself. So for me, that has been my experience in being mentored, and also my experience in mentoring other girls. There are also challenges in mentoring girls also. Some disappear. But yes, it's a great experience.
You actually end up learning, right? Even mentoring other girls, you
Mm,
end up learning so much.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, very nice, girls. Um, the, let's, in order to finish this session, maybe one last question, like the typical question. What advice would you give to someone in the audience who hopes to follow our similar path? Maybe we can start with Felipe and Michael, and then Eunice and Rahima.
Sure. Uh, Physics is cool and everything, but remember to take care of yourself. Your body is a machine. It needs proper maintenance. Uh, I stopped going to the gym when I was writing my PhD thesis. I haven't gotten back to it since 2024, uh, and I am regretting it currently very much. I need to get on top of that. I'm not saying that you should go to the gym, but do things that do well for your body. Eat right, sleep 8 hours a day. If not, you're not going to be able to do this job or any job for much long.
Thanks so much, Felipe. I'm surprised with your answer. I remember I talked the other day with a friend that says to me that he like abandoned the gym the 4 years of the PhD, and I was like thinking about this because this is about priorities or like it is needed to have to do different activities like uh, you know, yeah, maybe it's necessary.
Yes, I know, I know. I replaced the mental release that I got from the gym by collecting Magic the Gathering cards now. So
Nice. Michael, what about you? What advice?
And let me think. I believe, like, of course, like, I totally agree with what Felipe said. And similar to what, like, uh, maybe summing up things that have been said during this meeting in physics, like, of course, we do it because we love it, like, we like it, but it's not easy. Like, you'll be struggling, and I believe, like, even if it was, especially if you're a woman, right? But in general, for everyone, like, don't be alone. Don't do it alone. Like, it's really important to have your group of friends, have people like you trust, that you share what you're feeling, your experience, where you're struggling, or like what are your doubts, and like sharing, because we believe, like, with imposter syndrome, like, we believe, oh, we're the only ones like in this situation, with these problems. No, actually, like, we kind of cage ourselves sometimes, believing so, like, that we are alone, that all the other people are fantastic researchers. Like, no, like, it's really important to don't fall for this trap, and have a group of friends, of people that you trust, you can share, and even, like, okay, like, share what you're struggling, but also, like, don't necessarily speak to about physics, like, that just simply, or do other activities, like, taking care also, like, your physical and mental health.
Okay. Thanks so much, Michael. I agree with you also. uh, Rahima.
Well, maybe adding just on what Michael said, yeah, enjoy the research and stuff, but don't forget to live your life. We only live once, so like try to approach life with no regrets. Do whatever makes sense to you at the moment, like no regrets at all. When it makes sense to do research. When it doesn't make any sense, leave it. We need like try to be outspoken, talk to as many professors if you're interested in scholarship, as many professors as you can. No one would remember you the next day and be like, oh yeah, no one, no one would care about this. I know I had this in my mind for a long time, so that's why I'm saying. And yeah, I guess we're having so many beautiful advices. I'm excited to hear more.
Nice. Eunice, advice.
Uh, yes, my advice to you is keep moving. Don't get stuck on perfection. There's no perfect timing. There's no day you'll perfectly learn something that you'll be ready for your master's. There's no perfection. As I told you, everyone, including our supervisors, they all doubted themselves. Innately, we are all human beings. So if you have a question, there's no perfect timing. Ask that question. There's nothing like a stupid question. I made peace that if I ask a question and you think it's stupid, maybe you're the one that is stupid because I asked to learn. So console yourself that if you ask a question and someone thinks it's stupid, they're actually maybe the people that are stupid. You're not abusing people, but you need to learn something. And also don't take your weekends too seriously. Find something to do. Be very serious during the week. I'm not a gym person. I can just get fatigued out of just walking. So if gym is not your thing, find someone. Go to I love restaurants.
Yeah, go to restaurants like we used to
Yes,
do.
that's what I loved doing. So don't force yourself on something you don't love doing, and because you'll also not enjoy. Also, don't waste money. Don't be extravagant. I mean, do it responsibly. Yeah. So in weekends, have something to do. Get out of the house. Because if you keep the whole week in the house, the whole weekend in the house, imposter syndrome will worsen because you will not finish anything in a weekend. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, very nice. I like your talk about keep moving. Remember me the song about Jorge Drexler, Movimiento. I think it is also very important. Now maybe we can like wait some minutes. Maybe some person here want to share anything or have a question. Like we can wait like 3 minutes or so before 5 hours here in Brazil. Uh, like people feel free to open your microphone or write in the chat.
While we're waiting, of course, stop me if somebody writes or wants to say something, anything. I just want to thank you, Clara, for the invitation, and also like for the other guests, Felipe, Eunice, and Rahima. It was really like I hope we helped the participants, like we shared our experience, but it was like for me as well, it was really good listening to you and getting like as I said, like sharing all together all our experiences, and it was really really good. Thank you a lot.
Okay. My side, I might have to go and sleep. It's almost midnight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Run to your home to sleep.
Yeah, I'm in the house, so I take dinner. Okay, then it was great catching up. Congratulations, Clara, for this initiative. And I hope it continues, that this is not the last, it's the first. Hoping.
Okay, thanks, Eunice. I think
Okay.
we can finish here. The people is saying thanks. Okay.
Okay,
Then
thanks. Bye, everyone.
thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
It's been a
Bye.
pleasure.
Bye.
Until next time.
See you. Bye.
Until next time.
See
Pleasure
you.
to meet you
Bye.
all.